Hello everybody and welcome to the start of the fourth and final season of the Manchester United FC25 career mode. I did say at the beginning of this series I didn't want to do any more than 4 seasons, and here we are now in the final one. It's hard to believe, it's gone by very quick. Of course, it's been a pleasure doing a career mode with the team that I do support, of course, in real life. But the main objective of this career mode was to win the treble, and unfortunately it is something we haven't yet done. We were unfortunately knocked out of the Champions League last season by Real Madrid in the quarter-final for a second season in a row. Of course, Vinicius Jr. pops up just as I say that. But we did win the Premier League and FA Cup. So a double has been ticked off. We just need to take that step further to get the treble. Now, you've probably noticed here that we are already at the first Champions League game of the season. And some of you might be wondering, what about the Premier League season? So, in this episode and this season, I'm taking a slightly different approach to how I'm going to upload these episodes. You've already seen us win the league twice. We ran away with it basically both times. I don't think I need to show another Premier League campaign. And I don't want this series to drag on forever. Of course, we do have one more series planned for FC25. I'm so unbelievably excited for that series. Not to say that I wasn't excited for this series, but you know when you get to the end of a career mode and you feel like it's time for a change. That's just kind of how I'm feeling right now. So I don't want this to drag on for too much longer. And to be honest with you lads, Season 4 might be all wrapped up this week. I'm actually planning on uploading every day this week. So, what we're going to do in this episode is I am going to do all the Champions League phase games. I'm just going to show you the highlights of all of them. I'll show you where we are in the league as well at that stage. And also, I will show you any FA Cup games that we played to that point, which will definitely be the third round. And all going well, we should have the fourth round as well. So that's why I'm not premiering this episode. It's just going up as soon as it's ready, basically. Or as soon as the other episodes have gone up, just to peel back the curtain a little bit. The last 2 episodes of Season 3 haven't actually gone up yet at the time of recording, so I am a good bit ahead of schedule. Got a bit of a busy couple of weeks coming up as well, so yeah. I'm over-explaining this, but that's why the series is... I'm a good bit ahead of where the series is in real time, if that makes sense. So, that's what we'll do. I'll show you all the highlights of the Champions League games, show you where we're at in the league table, and hopefully all going well in the FA Cup as well. League Cup, I'm just going to sim it. I'm not really overly arsed about the League Cup this season. If we win it, great, it's a bonus, but the treble is the main goal. A quadruple would just be the icing on top of the cake. Of course, we have made some transfers. You can already see one there, even though he's suspended for the first Champions League game, of course. But not only have we welcomed some new players to Old Trafford, we have also said farewell to a few as well. So we'll start with some of the more forgettable ones and we'll work our way up. Marius Müller, our third choice goalkeeper, has been sold to Club Brugge, our rival league. If you know, you know. He was a solid third choice backup. I say solid, he only played 1 game, but I always like to have just that emergency option between the sticks. But we have had one of our loaned out players from the early seasons return from loan at a pretty decent rating. That was our Van der Sar regen is what I'm going to call him. He's back now at a 73 rating. He's only going to keep going up, so I thought it was time to cash in on Marius Müller. So thank you for your service and best of luck out in Belgium. This guy here, Anton Draskovic, he was the Nemanja Vidic regen we were kind of looking at. Didn't grow too much out on loan. When I say regens, obviously these are youth academy players, but I've based them off real-life United players of the past. I've already explained that, but it's worth repeating. Didn't grow an awful lot. 65 rated, worth 1.1 million, so we sold him on as well. Never made an appearance, but hey, it was worth a try. We also bid farewell here to Rory McCafferty, an Irish left-back. We tried to make him into the next Dennis Irwin. Again, didn't really grow an awful lot, especially now that we're in the final season. I just thought it was best to let go of the majority of the Youth Academy players who just weren't good enough anymore. So yeah, McCafferty's gone to Konyaspor. Best of luck at your new club. From a Republic of Ireland player to a Northern Irish player, Craig Ray has been sold to Juventus, which I thought was quite interesting. 67 rated, 2.2 million. Decent player, but we actually had better players in the same position from Northern Ireland, so I decided to cash in on him, and he's gotten a decent move for himself out at Juventus. Fair play. Tony Molina, the next Juan Mata, unfortunately didn't quite work out for him either. He is moving to West Brom. I don't know why. I really like the Hawthorns. I absolutely love the Hawthorns. I don't know why. It's always been one of my favourite stadiums. Can't really quite explain it. Maybe one day we'll do a West Brom career mode. But that's where he's going to be playing his football now. Best of luck out in the Midlands. Mike McArdle, another Northern Irish right winger, trying to be the next George Best. He has been sold to Coventry, 74 rated. He's actually gone up 2 overall since we sold him. But we do have a Northern Irish winger. I will show you his rating very, very soon. Mike McArdle was just slightly lower rated than him, so he was the one we decided to cash in on. Nusser Mazraoui, one of my favourite players in real life. He was decent in this career mode. I felt like he always kind of played second fiddle though at right back. And I decided, you know what, that was a position we really needed to improve on. I'm going to keep Diogo Dalot as the rotational option, which at 86 rated is fantastic. But Mazraoui was the one we decided to sell out to Brighton and Hove Albion for 27.6 million. I won't lie, I will miss him, but I do think this was a good deal for him as well. Evan Nielsen. I was really, really excited when we signed him last season. I just found it very hard to give him a chance when Rasmus was in such good form, and I really felt the drop-off when I switched Evan Nielsen in for Rasmus Højlund. He definitely had his moments, he wasn't awful, but I just felt like we needed somebody just a bit more powerful to come off the bench if it's not really working on the day for Rasmus. So he's off to Italy to play for Bologna. Decent move for him, 48.2 million, can't complain too much about that. This was a difficult decision. This was quite a difficult one. Rui Rocha, the Cristiano Ronaldo regen, and he legitimately was a regen. He wasn't a youth academy player. He is actually Ronaldo's regen. He was too small. That was the problem. I didn't feel like he was very powerful as well. I mean, his shot power will probably disagree with that, as you can see there at a 93, but I just didn't really find him very much, or very fun to use. He went out on loan to Inter Milan last season, grew a few ratings as well. I still think he's a good player. I just didn't think he was quite what we needed in terms of a backup striker option. He's gone to Aston Villa, so staying in the Premier League. Best of luck there at Villa Park. But now we move on into the signings that we have made. This one here, Rafael da Silva, a Brazilian right back. Southampton had actually initially signed him as a free agent. But when I saw there was a player with the same name as an ex-United player from the same country who played in the same position, I had to go and sign him. He's actually not in the squad yet. We signed him outside the transfer window, but yeah, I couldn't pass up this opportunity. He is not the replacement right back, by the way, but hey, he gives us some decent depth there. It's just a shame he didn't have a twin named Fabio who played left back that we could have signed. That would have been very cool. But somebody that we have signed is Brian Brobby. I remember using this guy in an Ajax career mode a few years ago. He was so much fun to use. I think it was in the Oxford career mode. He absolutely made my life a living hell anytime we came up against him. I remember one game, I think he scored 4 against us at the Emirates. He was an absolute nightmare, but I'm very, very excited to bring him into the team. An 85 rated backup striker. I don't think you can go too wrong with that. I think he's going to be that powerful player that we were looking for. I've used him in a few of the Premier League games that I've played before starting this episode. And yeah, he is definitely going to give us something different off the bench as well. He'll probably start a good few of the cup games as well. Obviously, Rasmus is still going to play most of the games, but it's nice to have that powerful option off the bench. So as disappointed as I was to see the other 2 strikers go, I'm very happy with the one that we've now brought in. Somebody else who I'm very happy to have brought in that you would have seen at the beginning of this episode, Ronald Araujo. As you can see there, 40.3 million, which you might be wondering, how the hell did you sign a 90 rated centre-back for 40.3 million? That's because we included a centre-back in this deal as well. Jens Fischer, the German regen that we signed from Tottenham. He was decent. He was a decent player. I just felt like if we are going to win the Champions League, especially if we're coming up against the likes of Real Madrid again, we just needed someone that little bit better. And this guy's not just a little bit better, he's 5 ratings higher. Wasn't playing for Barcelona this time round, he had moved on to RB Leipzig. So I think Fischer going back to Germany to play for Leipzig is a good move for him as well, makes sense. And Araujo coming to United also I think makes sense. I know it's not the most unique of signings, but hey ho, we're trying to win a Champions League here, so we have to go for the best in class, and I'm very, very happy with him as well. And speaking of the best in class, Jules Koundé, the highest rated right back in this save, is now a Manchester United player. This man was linked to United, it felt like forever before he eventually did go to Barcelona, but now he has arrived at Old Trafford, 90 rated, he can play centre-back as well, if needs be. Again, I spoke about in the striker position needing a different option from Rasmus if we want to rotate. Diogo Dalot is fantastic going forward at right back, but again, I definitely noticed in the Real Madrid game in particular, we needed something just that little bit different at right back. Again, not the most unique signing. There wasn't many right backs in the game better than Diogo Dalot. I think there was only 3 higher rated right backs than him, and one of them was Trent Alexander-Arnold, who is a Liverpool player in real life that plays for Man City in this game. Didn't really fancy signing him. And Koundé, I feel like defensively is going to give us so much more structure at the back maybe than Dalot did. But again, an 86 rated right back on the bench. That is strength in depth if I've ever seen it before. So I'm very happy with the signings we've made. Now let me show you what the team looks like altogether. I am very, very proud of this team. The fact that the lowest rated player in the starting 11 is 88 rated says an awful lot. Very, very strong bench here as well. Even Smith at 75 rated. He plays like a player who is 85 rated. I think in almost every career mode you get a player like that who plays beyond their rating, and Smith has definitely been that for us. The Ryan Giggs regen, he has absolutely tore it up in this career mode. The bench, as I say, looking very strong. David De Gea is declining slightly in his overall, but to be fair, Simon is probably going to play the majority of the games. And if I feel like we need another backup goalkeeper, I can always go for one in January. Not the end of the world. Plenty of reserves here as well, which is quite good. Doherty was the other right winger from Northern Ireland that I mentioned, so plenty of depth in that position. I know it had been mentioned about bringing Ahmad back to the club. Listen, it was very annoying to lose Amad Diallo when we did, and especially considering the circumstances. But to be honest with you, in a way, I'm actually nearly glad it happened. Not because I don't love Ahmad, but because it made us have to explore a little bit more. And now players like Doherty will get a chance. Left-footed as well, 18 years old. I'm quite excited about it. Maeda's still here as well. Godfrey, Amrabat, a lot of good reserve options here. Wheatley as well. So we basically have 3 players at least for every position. I'm very, very happy with the squad that we've built here for this final season. And just to show you our Champions League fixtures as well, as you saw earlier, Borussia Dortmund will be our first game away from home. This was a bit of a bogey fixture for us in the Celtic career mode, so hopefully this time round with United, it'll go a bit more straightforward for us. FC Midtjylland will be the first opponent at home then. The team that Marcus Rashford made his debut against in the Europa League in 2016 will be our first home opponent here in the Champions League. Then we move on into another home game against Slavia Praha. So far, apart from the Dortmund game, fairly straightforward fixtures. Although, now that I've said that, we're probably going to lose both of them. But anyways, still at home for the next game as we take on Porto, a team that United have a bit of history with in the Champions League, both good and bad. And speaking of teams that United have history with in the Champions League, it is Bayern Munich who we play next at Old Trafford. We actually lost to them in the league phase last season at Old Trafford, so hopefully a bit of revenge this time round. Just the one fixture in December, but it's a tough one, away from home against Inter Milan at the San Siro. 2 away games to wrap up the league phase, away from home against Lyon, and then a trip out to Osasuna, I think it was. Yes, it is. So hopefully, by that game, we might be in a comfortable position, and it might be a bit of a dead rubber. Here's hoping anyways. Oh, Borussia Dortmund, you are an absolute pain in the you-know-what. Marcel Sabitzer, who spent some time on loan at Manchester United, gives Borussia Dortmund the lead here. Decent left-footed finish. I could tell by the way this game was going at this point, we were going to have to deal with the craziest amount of E8s, and that unfortunately is exactly what happened. Rasmus Højlund did give us an equaliser here though, did really well to wrestle off Schlotterbeck there. Decent finish as well, past Kobel, in off the post, and we were back on level terms here in this first half. Second half then, we get off to the perfect start. Rasmus into Bruno, the captain strikes, puts us 2-1 up. I did notice there as well, for some reason it's not showing you the equalising goal from Dortmund next. Give me a second, I'll be able to show you that. Very, very frustrating when that happens. And that was a very frustrating goal to concede. Talk about a lucky goal. The deflection lands right at Shazankov's foot, and he is able to put it past Simon to get the equaliser for Dortmund. I knew what was coming from here. I just bloody knew they were going to go up the other end and score yet again. And yes, they did. 3-2 up here. They were absolutely all over me. Couldn't hold on to the ball for longer than 2 seconds. And they took the lead. I think it was 10 minutes to go. 15 minutes to go is what it was. And then this was the clincher. Peters with a decent strike sealed the 3 points for Borussia Dortmund. The only silver lining I can take from this game is that in the Celtic career mode, we also lost our opening Champions League game to Dortmund before we went on to win it. So hopefully history will repeat itself here in the United career mode. FC Midtjylland up next. As you can tell here, despite the fact that we're playing at Old Trafford, we did wear the away kit. It looked like in the menus that no matter what kit Midtjylland wore, it was going to clash with our home kit. But now that I see it here on the pitch, maybe it wouldn't have clashed as much. But hey ho, in the 98-99 season when United did win the treble in real life, we actually wore the away kit against Barcelona at home that season. So bit of a callback to that game, shall we say. That game was a goals fest, as was this one. Alejandro Garnacho giving us the lead here very early on in the game. And then a goal here from a legend of the channel. Here's a throwback for you. Jan Kucha, a player who we had in the first career mode series I ever did on this channel, the Turl United Create a Club career mode in FIFA 22. He came back to haunt me here by getting the equaliser for Midtjylland. What a throwback that is. We then took the lead again though. Alphonso Davies with a really good goal here. Garnacho's ball over the top and Davies poking it past the goalkeeper gave us a 2-1 lead inside the opening 25 minutes. And then Rasmus 10 minutes later put us 3-1 up just before the halftime break. I'll be honest with you though, Midtjylland were creating quite a few chances. Kucha was actually unlucky not to have more than one in this first half. It was a much tougher game than I was anticipating. In the second half though, we were a bit more comfortable. Cole Palmer here, another ball over the top from Garnacho, and Palmer was able to finish it with his right foot. 4-1 up there, Garnacho setting up Palmer, and then the next goal, it was the other way around. Great pressure there from Koundé and Palmer, and Garnacho, he's never going to miss from that angle. We then took Garnacho off and brought on Adam Smith, and Smith got an assist almost instantly for Sandro Tonali, who came on for the injured Hulman. I must check if that's a serious injury or not. Hopefully not. Did have to take him off at half time. Tonali came on for him and scored quite a decent goal there through the legs of the goalkeeper. Great ball in by Adam Smith. Kucha though really wanted to throw things back on the channel and got his second goal of the game. It ended up being nothing but a consolation for Midtjylland, but then he very nearly got a hat-trick. 2 minutes left and he was in again. You know what? I was almost ready to give him the hat-trick for old time's sake. But defensively, I actually thought we weren't very good in this game. Whatever about that happening against Borussia Dortmund, not too sure about it happening against Midtjylland. But listen, when it's Jan Kucha, who, as I say, legend of the channel, I'll forgive it, for now at least. Thankfully, the injury to Hulman wasn't a bad one, only 5 days, nothing to worry about. Well, this is why we had to sign somebody like Brian Broby. Rasmus Højlund has broken his metatarsal and is out for 7 weeks, and that is from international duty, not even from one of our games. So yeah, big injury there, but I'm confident that Broby can step in and do the job. Slavia Praha up next at Old Trafford, and Brian Broby showing why, even though Rasmus is out, there's no need to panic. Look at that for a finish. Good ball by Adam Smith. Broby, very powerful strike past the goalkeeper. You know what? I'm looking at this injury and taking the positives from it. Brobby probably wasn't going to play an awful lot when Rasmus was fit, so now we really get a chance to see what he's all about, and this is the perfect way to introduce himself on the European stage. A few minutes later, he was assisting a goal. Good ball there by Cole Palmer. I slightly overplayed it with Brian Brobby, to be fair, but Palmer then slotted it home for our second goal, and inside 10 minutes, I was already able to say, yeah, I think we're going to be getting 3 points in this game. Didn't score another goal in the first half, but at the very beginning of the second half, Bruno Fernandes got in on the act. Adam Smith, who had a very good game, cut it back, and that is a beautiful finish there by Bruno. I want to watch this one more time. It just glided into the net. That is an absolutely fantastic goal from our captain. Brobby was getting a bit tired, so we brought on Youth Academy player Ethan Wheatley, making his European debut for the club, well, at least in this career mode. And what a way to introduce yourself on the European stage as well. He smacked that one right into the top corner. Honestly, I'm really glad we held on to this guy. As I say, we have 3 players basically in each position, so I want to try and give everyone a bit of game time, especially when we're rotating the team in games like this against lesser opposition. So it's good to give these lads a chance, and it's great to see them taking it as well. Brilliant strike there from Wheatley. But he wasn't done yet. Smith with yet another assist, Wheatley with the goal. 5-0 here against Slavia Praha. Despite that rocky start against Borussia Dortmund, we have recovered really well. Well, this cutscene has just popped up here. He might be injured, but Rasmus Højlund is now the best player in the world. Ballon d'Or winner. He's going up, getting congratulated by fellow United legend Eric Cantona, and he receives the biggest individual award in football. Oh, you love to see it. Mbappe applauds on. Have that, you absolute prick. Mbappe has ruined my life so much on this, in this career mode, I should say. But Rasmus beats him to the Ballon d'Or. Oh, you love to see it. Well done, lad. Porto up next at Old Trafford. A 2-0 win here. Fairly straightforward game. Cole Palmer with a beautiful goal there. Brilliant strike, squeezes it through the defence and puts it past the goalkeeper, giving us a 1-0 lead here in the first half. And then the second goal was from the winger on the other side. Alejandro Garnacho receives a great ball there by Brian Brobby and doubled our advantage. And to be honest with you, lads, there was very little happened after this game. Normally, you only have this amount of highlights or replays when you use the highlights feature. I played this full game and there was only 3 highlights afterwards. Not the most exciting game, but 3 points in a clean sheet is always something I'll be very happy about. Massive result for us here against Bayern Munich, who were the league table leaders going into this game. Rasmus Højlund back from his injury, the best player in the world, Ballon d'Or winner, back with a bang. Gave us a 1-0 lead here, smashing that past Vicario in the Bayern Munich net. Bayern, though, did have quite a few chances after that goal, and Harry Kane was the one to get the equaliser. It just had to be him, didn't it? Olise setting it up into Kane, a former Palace player setting up a former Spurs player to equalise here at Old Trafford. Then, Rasmus Højlund, there was something about this goal. Look at how calm he is here. Takes his time. There is no Bayern Munich player near him at all. He knows he doesn't have to rush this. Half waited for somebody to make a run that he could square it to. But when it's Rasmus Højlund and when he's in this type of form, he can score from virtually any angle. It was a 2-1 win in the end. However, there is a bit of bad news. We've had yet another injury. And of course, it would have to be former Bayern Munich player Alphonso Davies. I had to take him off just before the halftime break. Oh, let's see how long he's going to be out for. Fingers crossed it's not going to be very long. Oh my God. He's out for the rest of the season. Alphonso Davies has suffered an ACL injury and will be out for up to 7 months. That is his Manchester United career over. It's the last season. We're already nearly halfway through it, and he's out for the rest of it. That is so disheartening. And that now means I'm probably going to have to go for another left back. I love Kirkez, but it's Harry Amas after him, who's 71 rated. Looks like we are going to have to jump into the transfer market in January. The EA's really fucking kicked in here in this game against Inter, and not because the highlights feature doesn't seem to be working here for some reason. Let me try that again. Oh, this really frustrated me, lads. What the hell is happening here? They don't even want to show Rasmus's first goal. What is going on? Let me try that again. Okay, apparently Rasmus Højlund, they don't want to show the goal that he scored to put us 1-0 up because the cameraman fell asleep or something. Even from this side, what is going on? For whatever reason, they don't want to show that goal, but they will show this goal here. Rodrigo, who made our life a living hell whilst he was at Real Madrid, now plays for Inter Milan, and he was the one who got the equaliser. Oh, these cameramen. That's really annoyed me, because Rasmus actually scored quite a good goal. But Rodrigo got the equaliser. I did use the highlights feature in this game. I thought I'd won it here. 86th minute, Rasmus ball over the top into Bruno Fernandes. Lovely finish. I am telling you, if this was the other fucking way around, there would have been no more highlights after that late goal. Oh no, let's include one more for Inter Milan from Rodrigo. Martinez misses the tackle and he gets that jammy equaliser. I am so fucking frustrated at that. As I said, 86th minute, we get a goal. That should have been the last highlight. Because the other way around, they would not have given us this chance. EA, get your shit together. Made that result, especially when a win there basically would have sealed our path to the last 16. But anyways, look, we win the next game. It looks like then that we've officially qualified. Before we get into that though, Alphonso Davies, he's out for the rest of the series. And it's not that I don't trust Kirkez. I just feel like we need as much quality as possible. Alphonso Davies was the highest rated left back in the game. The only other left back, I should say, that was as high rated as him was Gvardiol. He's at PSG now, but he's literally only just gone there. I didn't want to go in for that. I know we have Cole Palmer, but he grew up a United fan. I didn't want to go in for any other Man City player. I am going to go in for Theo Hernandez. Again, I know, not the most unique signing, but he's 88 rated. We get him for a relatively decent price. Let's go in and seal the signature of the Frenchman. They're saying that 67 million is his value. So I'm just going to offer 70, just that little bit extra. Hopefully AC Milan will be happy with that. No, they want Angel Gomes. I'm going to say no. I like having him as a backup. Let's go back in again. I'm actually going to go with less this time. You offended me, AC Milan. Oh God, they want a lot more. 81 million. Bring it down to 75. 75 flat. Can we agree on that? Yes, we can. Turned into Bob the Builder there momentarily. But anyways, here he is with his agent. Let's see. Okay, let's go crucial first team player. He is going to play. Kirkez will play as well. But at least we'll have the option to rotate them around. 3 years. We're only doing the rest of the season anyway, so that's fine. No release clause. He's on 210,000. You're coming to the Premier League. We'll give you a bit of a boost. We'll go 280. Will that be enough to secure the signature of the Frenchman? Yes, it is. Welcome to Old Trafford, Theo Hernandez. I'll miss Alphonso Davies, but I know a thing or two about how good this man can be in career mode, so I'm actually quite excited. Let's now switch our attention quickly, though, over to the FA Cup. Obviously, we are going for a treble. I'll show you the league table as well at the halfway point. But also, I wanted to keep you in the loop with the FA Cup as well as the Champions League. We got Wrexham here in the third round, up against Ryan Reynolds' Welsh team. And we, thankfully, did come out the victor. Brian Brobby giving us the lead here. I tell you what, it's great to have Rasmus back. But it's so great to know that we have this guy as a backup. That gave us a 1-0 lead. Anthony Elanga, he got the second goal here. Good ball by Bruno Fernandes. Lovely finish by Elanga. And I thought, oh, this is probably going to be a very straightforward game. To be fair, I was right. But a few minutes later, Wrexham did make things quite interesting. Really, really good finish here from their number 9. What was his name again? His name was Mahamadou Faye. Never heard of him, to be honest, but that was quite a good goal. It's not showing the third goal here, which is really, really frustrating. I can tell you, though, that it was once again scored by Brian Brobby. No, it wasn't. Sorry, it was scored by Elanga. Brobby got the fourth goal here. Brilliant finish here, yet again. Did really well to win that ball. and that was us through to the fourth round of the FA Cup. But of course we did have to add another couple of goals before then. Elanga sealed his hat-trick here. Good ball again by Brobby. Another good finish by Anthony Elanga. And then Adam Smith, the Welshman in Wales. Great run there by Doherty, the Northern Irish winger. And Smith got his first goal of the game and our sixth, and sealed our path to the fourth round of the FA Cup. Another individual award here, this time for yours truly, Joseph Turl, Manager of the Year. And lads, what else can I say other than I deserve this? All the rest of you managers bow down to me. There should be a sir in front of my name there. Obviously, I'm joking. I have to be humble. But yeah, great to see the individual awards coming in for both players and manager. Really shows that we are on the right path. Let's just hope we can seal this series with what we wanted from the very beginning though, and that of course is a treble. Show you the league table at the halfway point. Technically we're one game over the halfway point, but still close enough. 20 games in, we are 12 points clear of second place Liverpool. 16 wins, 3 draws and 1 loss from 20 games. Only 17 goals conceded and 56 scored. So we are en route to become the first team in Premier League history to win a league title 3 years in a row, 3 separate times. So I'm going. A weird one here. Initially, I was playing the highlights of this game against Olympique Lyon, who were in third place in the Champions League table. We were in fifth, so this was a big one. I went 2-0 up. Rasmus got the opening 2 goals, as you can see. And then it started an attack for Lyon, or it went to start an attack for them, and it just never went through. The countdown never started, the 3-2-1 before the attack goes through, and it just stayed on the freeze frame of the players who were ready to go on the attack. It was very, very strange. Thankfully, I was able to sim to the end. We did get a 4-1 win. Rasmus getting his hat-trick. Palmer scoring one as well. Ryan Shirky pulled one back for Lyon with 10 minutes to go. But we get the 3 points. And hopefully now, that should have sealed our path to the last 16 of the Champions League. As you can see there, we have 16 points after 7 games. Benfica, who are just outside of the automatic last 16 spot, that was really hard to say for some reason. They can only get a maximum of 15 points, so we have secured our path to the last 16 of the Champions League. We could still top the table as well, but listen, the main thing is that we're through and we can sim this final game against Osasuna. Phase game against Osasuna. They are in 31st place, so they are long gone out of this Champions League. We've made a few changes here, kept some players in like Bruno, who can play every game. Hernandez, just want to get his sharpness up a bit more. Let's just hope he doesn't get injured. We'll keep Unai Simon in goal. Can we get 3 points here? Oh yes we can. Brian Brobby, Bruno Fernandes with 2, and Brobby ends up getting a hat-trick. You love to see it. Well, here is the final Champions League table. After 8 games, we finish in second place, 2 points behind Bayern Munich, although that 1-L was at the hands of Manchester United, so I'll happily take that. The most goals scored in the league phase as well. Wolfsburg, Atletico, PSG, Bayer Leverkusen, Real Madrid and Napoli rounding up the top 8. I must check as well, actually. I saw in the social media tab, Harry Kane was in talks to join Bayer Leverkusen. I must see if that went through. Be very interesting if it did. Let's see here in the playoff places. Was there anyone who probably should have finished top 8 that didn't, or any shocks as well? Not anything so far from what I can see. Man City finishing quite low there. Celtic finishing 19th, fair play to them. Liverpool qualifying by the skin of their teeth. Theo Hernandez, a very happy man right now. He left AC Milan, who finished in 25th place, to join the team who came second. His old team miss out on Champions League knockout football. And yeah, no other real surprises there. Midtjylland, who we played, finishing bottom of the table. That's a shame for Jan Kutsche. But yeah, anyways, the most important thing is that we qualified in second place and we will be automatically in the round of 16. Happy days. And I can reveal to you that our last 16 opponent is Portuguese giants Benfica. You know what? I'll take that. Not taking them lightly at all, but I think that's a decent draw to get at this stage of the competition. Aston Villa getting Leverkusen, Roma, Real Madrid, Dortmund and Napoli. excuse me, and Napoli, my apologies, Inter Milan, Atletico, Real Sociedad, Wolfsburg, Braga and Bayern, Barcelona, PSG. Yeah, I think Benfica, one of the nicer teams we could have gotten. But as I say, not taking them lightly. Almost forgot as well, we did win our 4th round game in the FA Cup. I simmed it against Rotherham, a 2-0 win, and in the 5th round we will be travelling to Craven Cottage to take on Fulham. Let's hope this goes better than United's real life FA Cup game against Fulham a few weeks ago. Let's just have one more look at the league table before we wrap things up in this episode. We are 10 points clear of second place Liverpool after 25 games. 62 points to their 52. We've got a much better goal difference. We've only lost one game in the league all season. That 3rd league title in a row is looking more and more likely. I know I haven't showed you a single league game. I'll be honest, lads, I'm actually simming most of the league games now. And the fact that we're this far clear after 25 games, having simmed most of the league matches, just goes to show what a great team we have. Obviously, if and when we do win the league, I will show you the trophy lift because, of course, we do want to win the treble. But the main focus this season is on the Champions League in terms of the highlights that I'll show you, and that's because it's the one trophy that we haven't won yet in this series. We've literally won everything else. The Champions League is the only thing we haven't won, and not only do I want to win it, but also as part of a treble. If the league title race gets closer though, then I will show you 1 or 2 games, but the way it's going at the moment, that probably isn't going to be the case. But anyways, that will do it for this episode, lads. Bloody hell, this is the most amount of FIFA/FC I've played in, 5 hours it's taken me to get to this point. I've taken breaks in between, obviously, but I have played a hell of a lot of FIFA, and bloody hell, I am fit for nothing but bed at the moment. The next episode will be tomorrow, though. I am going to upload every day this week, just to try and get Season 4 complete. I don't want it to drag on for too long. As I say, we do have a series after this that is probably going to be 5 or 6 seasons, Montreal in the French League, which I'm very much looking forward to. So that's why I want Season 4 to be completed sooner rather than later. And as I say, hopefully, let's seal it with a treble. If you did enjoy this video though, lads, that's very hard for me to say. If you did enjoy this video though, lads, please hit that like button, consider subscribing to the channel, check the link in the description as well for the Discord, and I will talk to you all tomorrow for the next episode of the Manchester United Career Mode, where we will be taking on Benfica in the Champions League last 16. Talk to you then.